Told me love don't live around here no more. So I built a city in the dark looking for you. Neon halo over sinners in designer clothes. Angels in the section throwing roses at the post. Everybody broken but we hide it in the gold. Dancing with the devil while we praying for control. I came from the bottom where the wine turned bitter, where the snake talk slick and the cold get colder. Now I move water like a prophet in the winter, turn pain into champagne every time I pour over. Crossroads, lost souls all inside the venue. Heart full of scars, but the lights make them sensual. Every bad decision got a price in the menu. Still I break bread with the ones that would end you. If love's a religion, then why we all sinning? Why every kiss feel forbidden, still chase that light like we already seen it. We all want heaven without dying tonight. Want diamonds and forever in the same neon lights. Everybody reaching for a feeling they can't buy, so we toast to the stars while we slowly lose our minds. But if I fall, would you carry my name through the fire at all? If the world go dark and the last song calls, would you still choose love at the end of it all? And I've been running on fumes in a room full of saints with a halo of smoke and a head full of blame. If there's mercy left, let it know my face. If there's room in the dark, let me stay. We all want heaven without dying tonight. Want diamonds and forever in the same neon lights. Everybody reaching for a feeling they can't buy, so we toast to the stars while we slowly lose our minds. But if I fall, would you carry my name through the fire at all? If the world go dark and the last song calls, would you still choose love at the end of it all? Neon salvation. Neon salvation. Told me love don't live around here no more. So I built a city in the dark looking for you. Neon halo over sinners in designer clothes. Angels in the section throwing roses at the post. Everybody broken but we hide it in the gold. Dancing with the devil while we praying for control. I came from the bottom where the wine turned bitter, where the snake talk slick and the cold get colder. Now I move water like a prophet in the winter, turn pain into champagne every time I pour over. Crossroads, lost souls all inside the venue. Heart full of scars, but the lights make them sensual. Every bad decision got a price in the menu. Still I break bread with the ones that would end you. If love's a religion, then why we all sinning? Why every kiss feel forbidden, still chase that light like we already seen it. We all want heaven without dying tonight. Want diamonds and forever in the same neon lights. Everybody reaching for a feeling they can't buy, so we toast to the stars while we slowly lose our minds. But if I fall, would you carry my name through the fire at all? If the world go dark and the last song calls, would you still choose love at the end of it all? And I've been running on fumes in a room full of saints with a halo of smoke and a head full of blame. If there's mercy left, let it know my face. If there's room in the dark, let me stay. We all want heaven without dying tonight. Want diamonds and forever in the same neon lights. Said everybody reaching for a feeling they can't buy. So we toast to the stars while we slowly lose our minds. But if I fall, would you carry my name through the fire at all? If the world go dark and the last song calls, would you still choose love at the end of it all? Neon salvation. Neon salvation. Told me love don't live around here no more. So I built a city in the dark looking for you. Neon halo over sinners in designer clothes. Angels in the section throwing roses at the post. Everybody broken but we hide it in the gold. Dancing with the devil while we praying for control. I came from the bottom where the wine turned bitter, where the snake talk slick and the cold get colder. Now I move water like a prophet in the winter, turn pain into champagne every time I pour over. Crossroads, lost souls all inside the venue. Heart full of scars, but the lights make them sensual. Every bad decision got a price in the menu. Still I break bread with the ones that would end you. If love's a religion, then why we all sinning? Why every kiss feel forbidden, still chase that lie like we already seen it. We all want heaven without dying tonight. Want diamonds and forever in the same neon lights. Said everybody reaching for a feeling they can't buy. So we toast to the stars while we slowly lose our minds. But if I fall, would you carry my name through the fire at all? If the world go dark and the last song calls, would you still choose love at the end of it all? And I've been running on fumes in a room full of saints with a halo of smoke and a head full of blame. If there's mercy left, let it know my face. If there's room in the dark, let me stay. We all want heaven without dying tonight. Want diamonds and forever in the same neon lights. Said everybody reaching for a feeling they can't buy. So we toast to the stars while we slowly lose our minds. But if I fall, would you carry my name through the fire at all? If the world go dark and the last song calls, would you still choose love at the end of it all? Neon salvation. Neon salvation.
Blessings and love to every single one of you guys and gals in advance. Let me just switch something over here. Also, let me know in advance if y'all can hear me, because yeah, sometimes honestly I can't even tell on my end if it's actually working. All right, so let's don't answer evil with evil. Yeah, man. Yeah, I agree with that 1,000%. And you know what? now in hindsight, when I think back at these past like 2 years, um, there's even moments where, um, like, not even like knowingly, we might even be doing that, sometimes, like when we isolate ourselves, and I'm gonna get into the whole like breakdown of like the movie and how it correlates to like, um, real world, and how I find myself in the movie and all that, which has a lot to do with isolation. But like sometimes, not even knowingly, when we isolate ourselves from like our loved ones, our friends, our communities, people who who love us, who people who support us, and people who care about us, that in a way in itself is kind of like us, unknowingly, like quote unquote fighting evil with like hurt. Like sometimes we'll be in pain and we'll be suffering, and we will unknowingly pay back the people who love us and care about us, with a different kind of pain, which is that self-isolation. When we remove ourselves from those people's lives, like, again, family members, friends, communities, people who support us, etc. It's just not good, because it's like a domino effect, chain reaction, where you know hurt people, right? And so, like, obviously this is all in hindsight, right? But like, what I realized is that, as much as it sucks, and believe you me, I more than a lot of people understand what it's like to kind of like deal out that pain, right? To your loved ones and your supporters, your friends, your communities, because of the pain that I was going through. There's got to be a moment in realization, and there's got to be a moment, where we pause ourselves and be like, wait a second. Just because I'm going through what I'm going through does not mean that these other people who are in my life, who care about me, who love me, genuinely, want to be there for me, etc. Uh, they don't deserve to be dealt out this pain, right? That I'm going through, or that I'm experiencing, um, just because I'm experiencing it. Like, one thing is to let people in and let them know what you're going through, so that they can pray for you, so that they can be there for you, so that they can try to be, supportive throughout your pain. And another thing altogether is to hurt those same people by pretty much removing yourself altogether from their lives, you know? And then, like I said, it does cause this unexpected or unwarranted chain reaction domino effect, because now those people, they're hurt through your hurt. They're getting hurt because of your absence, when they didn't even do anything to deserve that absence. You know what I mean? And obviously, this is on hindsight that I've learned this, right? Um, and it like I am just now slowly but surely, little by little, trying to rebuild like a lot of, those family ties, right? Those family connections, and connections with, people who have supported me from the get go, from like, past channels, um, people who have been there for me, through thick and thin. And it has not been easy, because I'm completely aware that I kind of like did that to myself. I burned bridges with a lot of family members that did not deserve, for me to hurt them in that way. Um, I'm even just now starting to, little by little, rebuild bridges with like people like Kiko and producer Day. These are two family members that I used to consider and still consider to a certain degree, like secondary, like siblings, like secondary brothers, like secondary older brothers. And because of, like what I went through and what I'm going through, I've removed myself from their, from their daily life, and we've almost become strangers, because of it. And I'm just now like starting to like rebuild those relationships with them. Um, but like yeah, yeah, and but it's crazy. It's crazy. A lot of people will read that and they'll be like, yeah, but forgiving doesn't necessarily mean that I have to like reconnect with you. And yeah, just because I forgave you or forgive you doesn't mean I have to have some type of like you know, there's a word for it, but like not necessarily like friendship or relationship, but there's another term for that where it's like some type of connection with that person. And I'm just like, but is that real forgiveness then? Is that truly true, genuine forgiveness? Like because just because you say, "Oh, I forgive you," you know what I mean? In my opinion, saying that term and saying that phrase is only the beginning. And we'll get to the whole movie review thing in a second. And I'm gonna do like my own take on the movie, and I'll give like my own rating and all that. Um, yeah, that's my question. Is it true forgiveness when you just kind of like say, oh yeah, just because I forgave you doesn't mean we have to like reconnect in some capacity or whatever? I'm like, I question that. I really do. Especially, and here's the kicker, especially if and when that person like shows signs that they have truly genuinely grown into a more mature, more edifying person that would add to your life versus take away from your life. Because let's get one thing straight. Let's get one thing straight. There's an obvious difference between like let's say I I'm gonna put myself in the example, right? Just because I yeah, I'm gonna put myself in the example. Let's say I purposely, and that's the key word, purposely, intentionally hurt someone like emotionally and psychologically, purposely and intentionally, right? And I ruined their life. Okay, and then that person whose feelings and emotions and you know mind I hurt, they come back and say, hey, you know what? I found strength in Christ Jesus to forgive you, right? And like it is what it is. I forgive you in Jesus' name, right? And I tell them, cool, can we start again, right? And they tell me, uh, I don't know, we'll see. And then they end up giving me another chance. And then I again intentionally and purposely like hurt them emotionally and mentally, right? And but I show signs that that's what I'm after. I'm after like intentionally and purposely like doing harm by them, right? Then when it's like that, sure, I understand and I completely agree that hey, like if you can tell and you can see and you can sense that that person is going to purposely and intentionally cause you harm, like on purpose and intentionally, you can sense it, you can see it, you can hear it, you can experience that hey, this person is actively trying to hurt you intentionally and purposely. Then that's when I say, hey, I agree, you don't have to reconnect with that person, like if you don't want to. You don't, it's not forced upon you, and it's not logical to continue giving that person another chance. Versus me hurting someone, right? Unintentionally and unpurposely, right? Hurting them, right? And that person bringing themselves to, again, you know what? In Christ Jesus, I forgive you. And then me being like, hey, like, may I have another opportunity to reconnect with you, right? Like, I'm genuinely sorry that all this happened, that I caused all this. I'm genuinely like apologizing and sorry that any of this ever happened. I have truly, truly, genuinely, like, not only learned my lesson, but I have grown ever since, and am not the same person that I was when all this happened, right? Give me the opportunity to show you that. And this is all genuine. This is all like real talk. Like, the person is like genuinely like grown. And that person just be like no, like because I don't have to give you another chance, which a side note, I don't really believe in that. I don't believe in people not having to give people a second chance, because God gives us a second chance every morning, every day. His mercy is new every single day. And if we're called to be like Jesus, and we're called to be imitators of Christ here on earth, then at the very least, there is a second opportunity and chance to be warranted. But I digress. If and when stuff like that happens and the person says, no, like, I'm not going to give you another chance or whatever, and that person who caused the pain and anguish, has truly, genuinely, that's the key word, truly, genuinely grown and has learned and has evolved, right? Quote unquote, evolved into a better version of themselves, and is not given a second opportunity or chance just because the other person has the mindset of like, oh, just because I forgive you doesn't mean that there has to be some type of like reconnection. I think that logic is flawed. Like, if you can tell and you can sense that that person has truly, genuinely grown and have truly, genuinely, learned and reformed and renewed their mind, their heart, and you can tell that all they want to do is do right by you. And these are things you can tell. These are things that you, as human beings, we can tell. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But again, I digress. This is just something that, that I think about, and I'm just like, I meditate in the Lord, and I'm like, Lord, are we not called to imitate Christ? And are we not called to imitate you? Right? And imitating Christ and imitating God in those moments is like, sure, at the very least, I'll give you a second chance and another opportunity. Let's give this another chance. Let's give this another opportunity. Let's see where this goes now with your new mindset, your new heart, your new spirit. Let's see what happens moving forward. That's the very least anyone and everyone could do. But then again, I only expect from people what I'm willing to do and give. So, that's just me. Like, I in those situations, I wholeheartedly love imitating Christ in those situations, those specific scenarios. I enjoy and love doing my best to imitate Christ and God, like, with the whole, like, actually forgiving and actually, being merciful and actually starting up anew. But that's just me. That's just me. Anyways. Moving forward. Let's not dwell too much on that. But it has a lot to do with the movie. That's why I brought it up. Yeah, man. This movie, I saw it on Thursday night with mom. One of the reasons why I went to go see it is because, anytime and every time one of these movies comes out, I do my very best to keep the tradition, the family tradition going. Um, all these movies, the Avengers movies, MCU movies in general, but specifically Spider-Man movies, is something that, you know, my immediate family and I would always go and enjoy together. And man, it was rough. It was rough to. I'm not gonna lie. It was a great movie. It was, and it hit me so hard. It like, and I think that's why this movie is gonna do great, and it's already doing great. It's heading north to $1 billion box office record soon in the next couple of days or so. So, like, I don't even think, maybe like it'll do the total of 1 billion or more in that total amount of like a week, like 5 days or 7 days or whatever collectively. Um, but I think one of the main reasons of why it'll reach those numbers is because it really does a great job with, like, you know, putting people in this emotional um, placeholder. Like, it kind of like, because it's so immersive, and it kind of like makes you be a part of Peter's life and see life through his eyes. It gets super emotional, like super quick throughout the entire movie. Yo, what up, brother Red? What up? What up? What up? You'd be crying till not let me. Yo, I mean, you're always invited, bro. Let me send you the link. How can I share that with you? How can I forget? It's been a long time since I've invited anyone up here, so it might take me a second. Let's see. Okay, give me give me your email. Like, drop your email or Gmail over here in the live chat, and I'll send you the link. And yes, I would love to have you up here, because this review, man, like, it really does deserve like a group conversation. Because I'm not gonna lie, there's very few people like complaining about this movie, but the complaints that I've heard are so, with all due respect, they're so minimal and so dumb. like like come on, man. Like, you're really gonna be nitpicky about those things? Like, one of the complaints I heard was like, oh, okay, I'm assuming that's Gmail on IG. Okay, okay, okay. Let me see if, okay, give me 1 second. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Let me see if I can get on the desktop. Yeah, I think I might be able to do it through the desktop. Let's see. Okay. I feel like I should have you on Instagram, but you know, let's see. 4737. Oh, see? Okay, I found you. How am I not following you on Instagram through my Vision Eye View TV account? That's just weird. All right, so I gave you a follow on Instagram. Um, so whenever you well, let me see if I can. Okay, I can send you a message. Supposedly. Uh, yeah, I found you. I'm gonna. All right. Let's make the teamwork dream work here. Uh, we'll wait for Red to join the stream to keep going about that whole discussion here. But I will say, like, the very few complaints that I've heard on some of these like platforms like YouTube and Twitter or something like that. Like I haven't been on Twitter in like ages, but I've seen people talk what they've said on Twitter accounts on YouTube and stuff. They're like, oh, like how do they explain uh, that Peter's able to afford some of this technology? And like, are you telling me that one of, if not the brightest minds in all of Manhattan, because well, actually, is Empire State University in Manhattan? I forget, but whatever university he's going to, are you telling me that the brightest mind at that university does not get grants, does not get scholarships, does not get additional funding, because of how brilliant and intelligent he is? These are real things that happen in universities. Like students do get grants and scholarships, and not only that, but someone pointed out, Aunt May dying at the time of her death, right? And that would be like a much larger, like detailed, specific scenario to like get into. But the fact that Aunt May died, there is, not to sound harsh, but there is a life insurance to be collected. You know what I mean? Speaking of that, there he is. Yo, yo.
I want Spider-Man.
let me show my face right quick, just because, yeah, like I feel like this whole entire time I didn't even notice I had my camera off, but also,
Yeah, let me show my face real quick too. Psych now, psych.
Like psych.
Like,
All right,
let me peel my mask up to like my nose.
Oh, okay. Doing it ghost style. Yeah.
How are you, man?
You know what? Just to kill some demons out there, I'm gonna say I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing great. I'm doing awesome. I'm doing amazing. Almost as amazing and spectacular as the Amazing and Spectacular Spider-Man put into one. I'm doing amazing. Yes.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Thank you.
Maybe
Thank you
like
for
that.
knowing. There's some people out there who are gonna be like both like conflicted, like, well, damn, like
Well, damn, they're like, damn, your life must suck.
If I told you the line is a sin, well, no, I'm declaring, okay, I'm declaring that I'm doing amazing and awesome and spectacular, okay, Twist. I'm not officially stating that as a fact, but I'm declaring it as a soon to be fact. We'll just leave it at that. But yeah, man, no, I've been had 2 jobs for like about a year now, something like that, and it has been one of the most challenging experiences of my life in a long time. Not because it's 2 jobs, but because of the morning job is so physically challenging and psychologically stressful that it really does do a number on you, bro. Like I could get into it, but I would just say that there's things that if you experience it on a daily basis, or even on a bi-daily basis throughout the week, for weeks on end, on months on end, it makes you hate people. Like it kind of like forces you to hate people. And that's not me. Like you've known me for a while now. You know that I generally do love people right through Christ. But I am a people person. I love people. But that job, both jobs really do that to me. But
it tests your resolve.
it highly tests me on so many levels. Like I'm not even gonna get into it like that, but it is just, let's just say I'll DM you about it later or some other time so you can understand better.
Oh
But
yeah, definitely.
it's gotten to the point where I'm like, all right, I can't do this anymore. I have to look for something else because I don't want to end up being so hateful towards people. But
Right.
anyways, what about you, bro? What's new with you? How's your life? How's you know?
Well, surprisingly, these past few days have been like both like really, really taxing emotionally, which I'll probably tell you about for a specific reason, but it's also been like really, really, really good, you know?
Okay.
And then in general, I'm still like like you know, I'm just going about life like always, you know? So fucking waiting for this crept up on me. The movie crept up on me because I forgot it was coming out. Totally.
But have you seen it though?
Of course, yeah. That I wouldn't be up here if I haven't if I hadn't seen it.
True.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I asked that, but okay. So, but yeah. So before we start getting into the actual breaking down of the movie and all that, let me ask you just this one question. Um, is this a movie that has a rewatchable essence to it? And if so, what and why? And would you watch it a second time?
I feel like I personally have to rewatch it again because my initial answer to that question would be no. And mainly it's because there is no like staple villain. That's my issue. Like not my issue, but like that's what I find like what I what I tend to gear towards like, you know, rewatchability. Like there's no like staple like villain. There's no like goblin, there's no Craven, no it's like the villain is basically a temporary villain who turns out to be she's a hero, right? She goes on to be, you know, supposedly she's gonna go on to join, you know, X-Men and shit like that. But that's who the bad guy is, quote unquote. And then, you know, there's no like then that's what I kind of link towards, you know, people I mean, it's making good money, of course. And there's a market for not shitty superhero movies, right? But then I feel like that lack of like staple, like you know, out and out bad guy. I mean, there's Scorpion, but like, I mean, Scorpion, right? You're not gonna compare Scorpion to like, you know, some big hitters, right? So I feel like that might veer people away from watching it simply because people are you know are gear more towards like things that they know. But it's breaking records, you know, like crazy. So I don't put it past um what do you call it? I don't put it past people to go and watch it again and again because I mean it's Spider-Man's always gonna make money no matter what. Um and it's just embarrassing when you look at the box office for for Supergirl. That fucking movie.
Super hurl.
Yo, so look, Spider-Man's domestic haul this weekend alone is more than Supergirl's international worldwide box office in 1 month. So what that movie made around the world in a single month is what this movie made in 3 days. That is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Embarrassing. And
Let
James
me.
Gunn should be ashamed of himself and he should be scared for his job. Like I'm so serious. I'm not even trying to be funny. This dude should be scared for his job. And again, you could call it not fair because it's Spider-Man and everyone loves Spider-Man. But come on, dude. I mean, seriously. Like get real.
Hmm. So before we get into, well, because I will touch on the whole James Gunn situation soon. Um, but here's my take on, and there's a reason why I asked you that question that I asked you initially is because, so I personally I am gonna watch it 2 more times. But one of the reasons why I'm watching it 2 more times and it's justified is because so I had bought 3 tickets in advance for like my sister, my mom, and me because it's like a family tradition. We always try to watch those movies on opening night or whatever. And my sister couldn't make it because she had to go to a wedding as the what do you call it? The
Maid
main
of honor.
bridesmaid? Yeah, maid of honor. And so she missed out on opening night. So the theater was cool enough to be like, oh, we'll give you like 3 tickets, valid for like whatever movie until like October or whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. I wasn't even asking for that, but that works. So I'm gonna wait for her to come back to watch it again with her, right? And then I'll watch it a third time alone in either 3D or in that other format where it's like the entire
4DX.
yeah
Hmm.
because I want that full immersive experience. Um,
Right.
and I can't do that with my sister because with what she's going through like medically, she wouldn't be able to like handle those visuals.
Right.
But
Right.
I so I'm like, search for you. I'm gonna be there with like Spider-Man swinging from roof to roof. So you're missing out, but I'm gonna have a jolly old time. So
Right.
so that's the only reason why I'm gonna watch it 2 more times is because she missed out, and also I want that full like immersive experience. Now, okay, so now getting into the nitty gritty. So spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning. If you're here and you don't want any spoilers, I urgent urgently tell you to like just leave immediately because I am gonna ruin this for you because I gave everybody time enough. This is Sunday. We're already on Sunday night at this point. So if you haven't seen the movie from Wednesday or Thursday to like now, I can't. There's nothing I can do for you. Yes, I agree with Brother Red about there not actually being an actual main villain with actual legitimate like high stakes other than them trying to resolve like a personal like vendetta and personal like situation with like finding a loved one like the family member and I feel we got robbed on so many levels because of that, bro. Like if they would have done it like the other way around, where they actually put the Jackal as like the main villain and have Jean Grey as like a person who maybe he used to get something that he wanted to get, to make Spider-Man's life a living hell, aka a la going on to the Clone Saga, which I'm not a fan of, but it would have been more of a better point versus like having Jean Grey be like, oh, F the world, like I'm gonna like find my sister, screw everybody could screw off, and I'm gonna do everything and anything it takes to get to her and find her and blah blah blah. Like it would have been a much more realistic approach versus what we got. And it sucks because I said this on I think TikTok or on here at some point, and I'm like, when are we introducing Black Cat? When are we getting that as it? She doesn't even have to be a love interest right away. It could just be like just someone who just like sneaks into Peter's life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, but we got robbed of so many things, bro. Like the Scorpion fights, those could have been longer had it not been for the main plot. Um, the use of people like Tombstone was like we got like 3 seconds of him, and it's like that's cool. I see what you're doing, and I'm grateful, but that's kind of like giving me a freaking cheesecake and like putting it on the table, and as I'm about to like dig in, you take it away from me. That's like messed up. Um, but yeah, like I'm not. I'm not fully convinced that Jean Grey was a. I understand that they had to do it because they're paving the way to the new Mutant and the Mutant Saga, like the X-Men.
Yeah, the
Um,
X Men.
and I that's the only reason why they did it. And that's what really messes with my mind is like that's the only reason they did it is because they had to introduce someone from that team so that later on when they came out with the X-Men movie, things would like make sense and you would feel connected to at least one of the characters and be emotionally invested
Yeah,
into one of the characters
that makes
already.
sense. Yeah, definitely.
But that's the only reason. That's the only reason they did it, bro. And that's what kind of like tears me apart. Is like had there been more of a high stakes situation involving her, then maybe I would have felt more at peace about it. Like, okay, cool. But just look like there's come on. There's and this is me being nitpicky, by the way. This is me being nitpicky. There were so many other ways that Jean could have like found her sister without having to like put people's lives at stake and putting people in danger. But it's what we got, you know? And I don't know. I'm gonna take a break to gather my thoughts, but you can step in and kind of like expand on all that if you want.
No,
But
yeah, I kind of think so too. Uh, yeah, it's all over the place to be fair, so it's kind of hard to like set the like Sony is all over the place, so like it's kind of hard to like set expectation. Like the whole freaking not Spider universe, you know what I'm talking about?
mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm,
Venom, Morbius, like the whole not Spider universe, and then you had that teaser at the end of Venom,
mm-hmm.
uh, of like Venom licking like fucking Tom Holland's face and shit. Um, yeah, that so then, but then we don't know if that's gonna go anywhere, right? For all
Mhm,
we know, like freaking um for we don't know what's gonna happen, like, so like we don't know how, so like I can't sit here and be like, oh, you should do this, you should do that, because I don't know better, because only they know, or they may not even know like what they're gonna do, like for all we know, Secret Wars, that's Battle World, and technically he only finds the symbiote on Battle World, technically, if I'm not mistaken,
mhm,
so that is like a ways away, right?
mhm,
So, but even then, they would have to make a different version of Venom, because this Venom is like a dumbass. Like it's like he's a clown and like he does like dumb shit. Um, but yeah, but then it's like it's it, I kind of feel like it has to do like lots of work in order to make sure people stay. Um, it has to tell a grounded. So like I heard that like Tom Holland wasn't gonna sign if it was like a big like world ending kind of movie. Like he only signed because like the stakes were like not like it was like a street level movie with like not that many like multiverse this big super this and whatever. Like it was like a grounded story, and it was more of like a character piece. I would say, at least. That rhyme, don't hate the player of the game bars. Um uh So yeah, that was more of a character piece, and I think I think if they want to go for the next movie, I think they're in prime position to introduce someone else. Like they don't have to, or unless because like all the villains that he's faced so far have been like fringe, not fringe, but like it's like kind of like I don't want to say B tier, because Vulture is like he's kind of up there.
mhm.
Um, And then Mysterio, he's the only one I'd say is B tier, but then he literally like, he doxed Spider-Man. He should have doxed Spider-Man, dude. So can't even say that, but like more staple. And then they can't. So I'm like of like the dream cast of like Timothy Chalamet as Harry Osborn, which
Mm.
I think would be generational casting. But how are they gonna top? Because they did Willem Dafoe already. They already did they already had Green Goblin in there, so they could go. My dream movie would be the plot from the Spider-Man 2 video game, but like condensed. like have maybe someone close to him is dying or something, or like have that battle with like loss and grief or something. Meanwhile, there's this other guy who is going out of his way, murdering people, to stay alive, right? To like, like he's like he wants to be like, well, not to stay alive, right? But like, cause like he's kind of perverting the whole notion of, you know, people letting go and shit. Because what he's doing is that he's taking lives while he's on his way off, to die, right? He's killing people. He wants to be worthy of a death. So this whole notion of letting go, dying peacefully, like he's perverting all of that in like killing people in the pursuit of a fight to the death, right? A glorious end, right? Like, oh, cancer's not gonna kill me. Um, on my way out, I'm gonna go and kill people. I don't care how many people I have to kill to get that perfect fight. I think Craven would be a amazing bad guy for this version of Spider-Man. But hey, I can dream, right? But there's so many ways that they could go with this, that it's up in the air. So it's like people are calling it the Day trilogy now. So like every one of the movies is gonna have like the word day in it. And I think there's a story called One More Day from
Mhm.
Spider-Man. I haven't I'm not too familiar with it, but I think it's like something big happens in it. So I'm not sure. I'm not even gonna I was about to look it up, but I'm not anymore. Mephisto dying on. Uh Maybe just the title, they'll borrow it from the title only, but yeah, I think they'll. Uh, this movie is doing well for a reason, Like no matter how
Mhm.
much we nitpick, no matter how much we don't like this, we don't like that, it's doing well for a reason. It's breaking records for a reason. People are tired of just BS movies, like
Mhm.
Supergirl, um, or even Superman. Like as much as I went to go see that movie like twice, it wasn't really that good upon rewatch. It was really, lackluster. And then Supergirl, that was a train wreck. And then what else has been? It's embarrassing. But Spider-Man is he has that kind of pull, right? Even more than Batman, right? So he has that kind of pull, and he he brings in the money, of course, right? But then where they that I mean, it's kind of a good thing that I don't or we really don't know where it's gonna go. Um, but then it's also kind of a bad thing if we're like impatient, you know. But
Mhm.
okay, so and then you mentioned Tombstone. It's funny because like I don't know if you know that actor. He used to play like this really racist dude on like Black Lightning. Like I don't
I
know
did
if you
not
know
know
that.
that. I did
So
not
like
know that.
like Arrow, Flash, like those shows. So there was a
Right?
show called Black Lightning. It was like in that same kind of universe. The
Okay.
main bad guy of the show, he's like this kingpin dude, but he's like racist to a T. So there was like memes because like he'd like drop N bombs every single episode, right? So I swear. So then there was like this meme going around. He's like, "Yo, what happens if like Miles Morales shows up and Tombstone gets a hold of that guy?" Like,
Oh
no,
my
and then
goodness.
it's interesting because the actor, he's like a rapper.
Hmm.
He's black, but he's albino. You
I
know,
was just about to say that. I was literally about to say that. I'm like,
he's black,
isn't
but
that guy black?
he suffers from albinism. So that's why they did that whole concept, in Black
Yeah,
Lightning. Just so it's interesting because his character is a racist. Like he's a
that's
straight
freaking
up like
awesome.
he's a straight up racist, but they casted that. But I seriously, because that he voiced Tombstone in Into the Spider Verse, and now he's playing him in live action, even though he only got like 10 seconds of screen time.
Let me just clarify before someone clips what I just said and is like, oh, choose races. When I said like that's awesome after what you said, I was meaning like the irony of like a
Yeah,
black male actor who's just happens to be albino being racist towards his own
yeah,
people. That's creative. That's original and creative. I'm not gonna lie. That's top tier like trolling basically. like
yeah. No, and then I think like I that show was a while ago, and I didn't finish all of it. But I think his sister was black, obviously, but he is the only one that suffered from albinism in the show. you know. So it was like no, but then it was hilarious because like he wouldn't straight up say the N word, but he would drop like variations of the N word in every single episode. It was like it got borderline like hilarious. Like he would be he'd be
That's
like
freaking funny.
it'd be like super serious, but then he'd be like, you know, like racist for half of the time. But no, that actor, he's like really, really good. And I think if they want to like expand him as Tombstone, I think they could go for it, honestly. Because like Tombstone is like a I want to say he's like a he's like the Timu Kingpin.
Mm.
He's like yeah, he's like the Timu Kingpin. So like they could do that, or they could just straight up do Kingpin, but they can't, right? Because like in the comics, he's like you know superhuman, but like he can't. Like Spider Man can't. Spider Man would whoop this dude's ass like in like two
Oh yeah,
seconds. Yeah,
oh yeah,
because he like he fights Daredevil, but like Daredevil's not Spider Man, you know. So
exactly. And he
yeah,
has trouble with Daredevil, so that gives you the answer right there. But
yeah.
yeah,
Spider Man's not gonna, you know, he's not gonna hold back. Like he's gonna like flick his finger and he's gonna go flying.
I have a comic. I think the title of it is like Back in Black. I forget what issue number it is, but they show like what happens when Peter or Spider Man stops holding back, like against people like Kingpin, and that comic is phenomenal. Like just like 4 or 5 panels of him telling Kingpin like holding him up like this. Okay,
Oh,
I
is
don't
that
know.
where he wore? Is that where he wore the black suit that wasn't the black suit?
I have to double
It was
check.
just like it was. I think like he didn't have the symbiote, but like I think he just wore a black suit because he just I don't know. It was he felt more like in tune about like what he was gonna do. He was like, oh, I'm gonna go fuck up Kingpin to like the
Maybe
inch of death, and then he just put on the black suit. It looked just like the symbiote suit, but it wasn't the symbiote. It was just Claw.
it's a possibility. It's a
Yeah.
possibility that might be it. But in that issue, like he just freaking holds up Kingpin like this, like no problem, just like light work. He holding up a feather. Okay, not by his clothes, not by his jail clothes, but by
About
his
like
skin.
fat
He's
rolls, dude.
Yeah, pretty much like by his fat rolls, and you could see they did a great job like illustrating the body weight dropping from like the fatty rolls that he was holding on to, and
Yeah.
he just like, do you understand that if I really wanted to, I could do this, and this to you, and like just like put you away, like just put you into the grave forever. Like, but I have
Yeah,
been
yeah, yeah.
playing it nice up until now, and I'm just like, if people truly knew the like how strong Spider-Man actually is. Because here's the thing, and I'm gonna touch some things that you mentioned a few minutes ago about like the non-Spider-Man Spider-Verse, which I think I'll get into it, but yeah. So in this movie, okay, how do I explain this? So in Captain America Civil War, where we first got introduced to Spider-Man in the MCU, um we get a glimpse, okay, we get a glimpse of how strong he is, like when he was fighting with like Bucky and them, and Bucky is like about to punch his lights on, he just grabs his hand like nothing. Oh, that's cool. And it's
Yeah.
like so like normal about it, right? That's him in his beginnings of his powers,
Yeah,
like
that's how
still
strong
being
he is like back then, you know?
naturally. That's him
Yeah.
strong. That he's not even trying. He's just like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Captain America, whenever he blocks the metal arm, he literally is like groaning in pain just to like hold it back. And that's like him like exerting himself like that much more. But then Spider-Man just like hold out, like, oh, this is a toy. Like, oh, look at me. Like
Exactly.
nothing.
And but here's a kicker, and this is what nobody's talking about this. Absolutely nobody that I've seen online is talking about this. So that's him in his beginnings. Okay, that they're showing us how naturally strong he is in his beginnings. Okay, now then, now then, um, what we got in Brand New Day is yes, his powers and all that do increase, because of what they explain about like, extreme stress and this and that. But it's also a fact that he's just like those powers have been like naturally expanding in his body throughout this entire time. Like it's kind of like the best way of me explaining it is like, let's say um someone, I don't know, like puts like a balloon of like some type of like liquid inside of your body, right? And that balloon has like a tiny hole where it's leaking out this liquid inside your body little by little, right? But it gets to the point where that little hole gets bigger and bigger, and more of that liquid that's inside the balloon is reaching more of your body more rapidly, right? So that's like an equivalent of what we get in this movie. It's like at the beginning, like in Civil War and Infinity War and all that, like he's still like not fully like those powers are not fully into his system yet. In Brand New Day, whether it be because or not because of the high stress situations that he's been dealing with over the past few years, of him having to isolate himself, those powers have been like increasingly and rapidly expanding in his body to where now we're getting that full comic book accurate, like this dude who can lift 10 tons easily without breaking a sweat. This is him getting to that point where, and that's why when he grabbed Scorpion's tail and just freaking swung him so
Oh
easily,
yeah,
like one arm, that's still him at his baseline strength. That's not even him like really trying really hard to like do damage. It's him losing control and being more loose with his strength, but it's not him at his like maximum capacity. That's still baseline strength. You know,
right.
when you can lift, I don't know how heavy that suit might be, but let's say it's somewhere in the north of like 500 to 700 pounds. You know, because of like the type of metal that it uses or whatever. Like when you can lift that as like easily as he did with one hand, like one arm, and swing it the way he did, like bro, that's like the initials of us seeing like how strong he actually is. Um, but it's what I was saying. It's like you know that initial spider bite that gave him his powers, that radiation has now almost fully expanded within his body over the course of 4 or 5 years. You know, um, but yeah, what I was gonna say that you brought up real quick, the non Spider-Man Sonyverse, like with Venom and Carnage and Craven and Madam Web and Morbius, um, I think it was a huge mistake. However, they're kind of forced to do that because under contract, Sony is forced to come up with and produce some type of Spider-Man content within a certain.
Yeah, it's all contractual. Yeah,
So they haven't done the best job because it's like what you said, like Spider-Man is supposed to, and that's where I get mad sometimes. It's like the whole Venom situation like makes me mad. Like I'm okay with the Venom movies with what's his name?
Tom Hardy.
Thank you, Tom Hardy. He does an okay job with like somewhat, and I say that very sparingly, somewhat doing the character somewhat justice here and there. But the fact that we didn't get Spider-Man in that symbiote before he got it has always like made me so
Yeah,
upset. Cause like that's
and
not
that's
how it works.
and that's not the only time that they've so because the game I enjoyed the second Spider-Man game, but they
Mm,
messed up the origin so wrong, like so badly because in that game, uh, it makes it so that like Peter in his depression, his trauma, his grief, his anger, it makes it so that he turns the symbiote evil, and then now that the symbiote has absorbed all of his evil, like the symbiote's like, oh, I can make you strong, this, that, and the other, like, oh, like this, it absorbed all of that from him, and now when it lets him go, then it wants to be the classic, oh yeah, I'm evil, I'm this and the other. Like, no, like it's from the jump. Like it has to be from the jump. It has to be like this powerful entity who takes advantage. Not well, it's half and half.
Mm-hmm.
It's taking
There you go.
advantage of other people, but then at the
Mhm.
same time, it needs to because it has to survive. It can't survive without a host. So it finds people that it can help, quote unquote,
Mhm.
help,
Mhm.
and offers them like everything they want, like power and everything, and and whatnot. And then the only reason, so and then it absorbs that part. They misunderstood how to interpret that because like it absorbs your powers, right? Like the symbiote. That's why like Eddie is the person who next uses it. Looks like Spider-Man, swings like Spider-Man,
Mhm.
behaves like Spider-Man because the symbiote absorbed everything that it means to be Spider-Man, right? But then it already had that kind of like, oh, I can make you stronger, I can make you this, I can make you that, I can solve your problems. But then they clearly established that that black thing was keeping Harry completely healthy. And it was like this good thing that was helping. Harry even used it to become a freaking uh like a hero, quote unquote, Agent Venom, right? He
Mhm.
used
Mhm.
it to to do good, right? And then the only hint of it being kind of possibly, evil-ish is when like the symbiote lunged out to try and wrap itself around Peter. It was like to like look for the strongest organism. But then other than that, they made it seem like the symbiote wasn't like evil per se. They made Peter corrupt the symbiote, which it should be the other way around. So then in the Sonyverse,
Mhm.
it's like why you can't have Venom without Spider-Man. You can't. So
Exactly.
but then they did the best they could with what they had to work with. Yeah, but it was just jarring. It's always jarring seeing Venom, but like all black, like without the white spider logo.
Yeah,
It's
that
jarring.
always irritated me, man.
It's irritating, and then they try to make up for it to like lightly like brush white around like the thing and whatever, but it
Mhm.
never works out. It
Nope.
never works out, and it's like it's always like there's something missing, right? It makes
Mhm.
no sense. It makes no sense now. They have to make a new version of Eddie Brock,
Have
pretty much,
to.
or someone, right? They have to
Mhm.
make a new version to like tell that story, which they wrote themselves into a corner
Oh yeah.
big time with that character. That's why that character for now is on the show. That's why I mentioned for the next movie they should look at someone like Craven or another big guy like who else? There's so many like Sandman or Doc Ock or not Doc Ock, but like some multitude of Carnage. Jesus Christ for Carnage or
Hudson or
so-
Screech and
somebody somewhere. Uh, they should be. I don't know. They have a whole array of things to do. Um, they could be like I said, like my whole idea of like Timothy Chalamet as Harry Osborn is like, oh, Osborn, oh yeah, like maybe like he has that previous knowledge of, oh, the last guy named Osborn did such and such to me, so like maybe I should stay away. But then like no, maybe I should trust him. This that, and the other, and then it goes wrong, obviously, because right, but
Mhm.
I'm just I'm like my creativity is just going rampant, so it's like they're going. I get where they're going, I get what they're trying to do, but then certain things that people would love them to do, they just can't because it just wouldn't make sense because like people now they can't do Venom because they can't do Venom as good as they should have because they just have that in the back of their heads, like, oh yeah, Venom already exists, and he looks
Mhm.
good. Venom looks really good. It's not like
Mhm.
freaking Spider-Man 3, freaking Topher Grace.
They nerfed Venom in that movie, bro. Like, it's so bad, so
Yeah.
bad. Like, and I'll never understand. Like, I don't understand how they just couldn't amp up like the size because that's all it really was. Is like mostly like the size. Like Venom is supposed to be
Yeah.
this really jacked, like
I had no
tall.
idea. That was what I thought Venom looked like. Like when I first like watched so like I may have watched it for the first time Spider-Man 3 when I was like probably like a year after it came out, I remember kind of like seeing it for the first time. You know, Black
Hmm.
Spider-Man, Black Suit Spider-Man, this and that, the other, and then Venom, and then that's what I thought it looked like. That's what it thought like it looked like, and then later on did I realize, oh shit, Venom's actually this huge fucking thing. Like the way they showed it in the video game was perfect because like he was like
Hmm.
twice the size of Spider-Man, right? And
Exactly.
then Carnage is like a bit bigger than Venom, and he's still scary looking. But Venom
Hmm.
is twice the size of fucking Spider Man. He's like, and he's stronger, obviously. But then, like, holy shit, like that's what makes him scary because once it leaves him, it has all of his strength, and he's just that much stronger, and he's bigger, and he turns into a monster. But then, like in Spider Man 3, he's like this freaking. He's like, you made me lose my girl. Now I'm gonna make you lose yours. How's that sound, Tiger?
Ah!
He's like, I like being bad. It makes me happy.
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace. Fucking Topher Grace.
Oh man, yo, which it really sucks. Is like that was a great opportunity for him, but I think the writing obviously did not help him out at all, and then
Avi
the
Arad.
visuals.
Avi Arad is that motherfucker. He fucking Avi Arad. He forced Sam Raimi to do fucking you know how much better it would have worked? Hey, look, imagine this. So Spider-Man 3, Sandman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or no. So have have it be Spider-Man 3, have the villain be Sandman and Harry Osborn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then because like they've been building up to that the entire time, right? I mean, I'm kind of stealing this idea from another creator that he kind of, but like it works so well. Have him be the bad guy. Have him be like the new Goblin in the armor. You know, they're fighting. Like he's playing mind games. He's trying to take Mary Jane from him. Uh, just being a douche, right? And
Right.
then Sandman as a side character be like, oh my god, like you know, like this, that, and the other. He killed my uncle. This, and then you know Harry takes him to a point where he's like about to kill him, and then like Mary Jane's the one who has to talk both of them down and be like enough, and then like you know like and then the idea that this other guy had right is
Right.
like what if Harry instead like okay yeah you're like yeah okay you're right you know I was wrong like it looks like he's making a better choice than his father, but then he takes a bomb and then he kills himself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
That
then
would be a twist.
so then he takes a bomb, he kills himself. He doesn't not to like hurt Peter or like any, but just the grief or like the you know he just can't like he kills himself, right? And then so that would have been better lead into Spider-Man 4, like all that grief, all that you know trauma, everything that he went through in the first three movies.
Mhm.
That would have been perfect for the symbiote to come in and capitalize off of all of that. But no, fucking Avi Arad had to stick his nose in, be like, "Oh, I
Mhm.
want Venom. I want Venom." That's why Sam Raimi had like that. That's why like now it's a meme, now it's a phenomenon. But back then it was like, oh yeah, this is very disappointing. You know, it was like after
Mhm.
two solid movies, this was very disappointing. Like you just
Mhm.
cramming in, you know, like they literally had to make Harry lose his mind, like lose his memory, and leave the movie for like 30 minutes to build the other two characters up, and then they had him come back like when okay like it's like oh yeah we're done, you're done for the day dude, and then okay now it's your turn again, come back. Like that's messy, you know, it's like messy storytelling, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Like it's really upsetting. Like you just said. Like after two, especially Spider-Man number two with like Doc Ock, that was still is one of like the
That's the
better
best movie ever, like
written Spider-Man movies of all time. Like and yo, like I forget his name, but the guy who plays Doc Ock,
Alfred
um,
Molina.
Alfred Molina, thank you. He did a phenomenal job with that role, like on both sides, like doing that duality, like type of like him fighting himself because of the suit controlling his mind and him having like trying to fight back mentally and all that. Like that's not easy to do. That's not an easy like role to like take on, like someone with like split personality. Um, and he did a great job with that. Now, everything from start to finish in that movie, like Peter's hardships, but also like him, also like embracing, like, oh, you know what? if I'm not gonna be able to like do this or do that, then cool. I get to like enjoy life. He did a great job with that too. Like there's so many things that happened in that movie that were just both written, like very, very like correctly, but also delivered like on a realistic like note. Like I think elevates that movie to that height that everybody like holds it to. And I don't know, man. I really okay. Going back to this brand new day like
Yeah, this
trilogy.
movie. Yeah, I feel like we should talk about this movie. Yeah.
Um, I'm I'm both excited and concerned moving forward. Like what they're gonna be able to. I hope the same way they took their time to make this one. I hope they take the not so much. I hope they don't take like another 5 years to make the next one. But I
Right.
hope,
Yeah.
which was okay this time, only because like there was a lot going on, like like before they started like the production of this movie. And that part I get it,
Right.
so it's fair. But now that they delivered what they delivered, and in my opinion, I on the low end, and this is me being like nitpicky and like really like anal about it, I'll give it like a 7. But on a realistic like rating, I'll give it somewhere between an 8 and a 9, just because the emotions were there, like the immersiveness was there. The
Yeah,
just over
definitely.
the visuals, everything, the fight scenes, like sure we got kind of like we got teased with a lot of what could have been great opportunity for these big villains to like show up and do a lot more damage than what they did, but we still got a glimpse of them here and there, which is
Yeah. We
it's
got Cindy
okay.
Moon. We got Cindy Moon. Did you catch it?
I did not catch that.
S-
This is why I have to watch it a second and third time.
But do you know what? But you know what I'm talking about? No, though, like the scene.
You,
Do you remember?
you talking about the Cindy Moon from like the Spider Woman Cindy Moon, like the
Silk.
Silk. I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
We talking
it
about
was in
her?
the where in when he went to ESU to go find Hulk. She's the one
Okay.
that raised her hand,
Oh, that's her. Okay,
and he was
okay.
like, "Oh yes, Cindy," and she was Asian too. In the comic, she's Asian. So and
Gotcha,
then like
gotcha.
who the she's like they say Cindy, but then who the hell else is gonna be like Cindy Lauper or some shit? No, it's Cindy Moon. Like
That's really laughing.
yeah, she's Asian. She fits the bill. She looks like Cindy Moon, so like Cindy Moon. Yeah.
Fair
So we
enough.
got
I did
that
not catch
tease.
that.
They teased that, and then what else did they tease? They didn't tease much because I stayed for the post credit scene, and it was a nothing burger. There's like, oh, Spider Man. There's a Spider Man on another planet. Like what? You know?
Well, which I have. Okay, see that those are the things where I'm a little concerned because the way that they set it up. But we'll get to that in a second. But
Yeah.
like they did supposedly tease also they did tease Black Cat in one of the newspapers or articles or something like that. But I need to like rewatch it to like really make the connection and like see what exactly is being said. But that's what I heard, that they did allude to like a Black Cat or her father like situation on an article. Um, okay, that post credit scene is there's one tiny problem with it, and I already know you know about this, but there's other people that might not understand. There's one tiny problem with that. So according to Ned, the only way this wouldn't make sense is if he's lying. But according to Ned, the only way that the Spider-Man tracker works is if and when someone reports a sighting of him somewhere. So who the heck is
Who the heck is reporting sightings on another planet? Like who is it? Like
right?
fucking exactly. Who's reporting? You know what I think it's teasing? Wait, did have you discussed like end Doomsday spoilers on here? Because I
No,
personally you know what I feel I personally, when that day comes, I'm going to see Dune Part 3 first. Like
Okay.
I personally give I personally could not give when I tell you that I've let the MCU go, like after Endgame, when I tell you I couldn't give less of a damn about Doomsday, I could not give less of a damn about Doomsday, and that's what I I I give this movie props for, is that you don't have to go and do your homework.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that doesn't involve Spider-Man. You don't have to go and do homework to for the movie to make sense. Not like fucking um your other MCU movies where you have to watch the Loki series, you have to watch the new Avengers series or what have you. What the fuck? Like you have to do so much homework. It feels like a chore catching up just to know what the fuck they're talking about on in the new movie. Uh, that's they lied to you in Captain Marvel. When Captain Marvel came out, I was like, oh yeah, that's the only reason why Captain Marvel made 1 billion, because it was at the hype of after Infinity War and before Endgame. That's the only reason why I made one of them, because they said, oh, you have to watch Captain Marvel or else it's a lead up to Endgame. Like no one, people are smarter than that now. People have grown smarter. People like see through the BS, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I praise this movie for, is staying like grounded as well. But then back to like the other, like the Spider-Man on Another Earth. I don't know how comfortable you are with that, because like I today, just before getting on, I read a full breakdown of the potential leaked script, and my God. But I don't know how comfortable you are talking about it.
So so I've also seen a summary of like the script, but I will say this, man. I will say this, and this is what I'm counting on, and this is what I'm hoping on. Oh snap! We got Courtney in the house. This is a well, it's not a first, but it's been a minute since we had Courtney on one of the Vision Eye View TV
Yeah,
streams. Blessings and love to you. You know, huge bear hug from yours truly. I hope you're doing well.
yeah, it feels like a
Um,
blast from the past. Like
right.
yeah, yeah, exactly, right.
But thank you for stopping by, Courtney. I appreciate that truly. So here's my thing, and this is my hope and my prayer. Okay, the same way, and this is what I keep telling people, and this is what I talked about in one of the past streams. You should take a watch to it. Um, so we are gonna be wrong-footed, bro. We are gonna be severely wrong-footed with the script and the plot of the movie, and I'm gonna tell you why. The same way people were making assumptions and making all these allegations of, oh, because of like the script of this movie coming out, and them saying what was going to happen, right? And there were some secrets that were well kept and others not so much, but we were still wrong-footed about a lot of things that were being talked about this movie, about Brand New Day, right? um it's the same, because you got to remember, if they were able to wrong foot us and kind of like misdirect us with this movie, which isn't nearly as big as a deal as Doomsday is supposed to be, you
Right.
got to think they're going to do that on a higher scale and level. They're going to give us a script in advance, like, oh, the script leaked or the plot leaked. And we read the plot in the script, and we're like, oh, that's like some jackass type like move. Like, what is that? Because I know what you're talking about. And
Because the script I read was like this happens and this happens and this happens and this
Mhm.
happens and this happens kind of script, right? There's
Right.
no
Yep.
plot, right? And
Exactly.
the worst the worst part of all of what I read, I'm gonna be as vague as I can. The obvious reveal. So like everyone knows, fucking Robert Downey Jr. is coming back for Doctor Doom, right?
Hmm.
Apparently, that reveal doesn't happen, right? It
Hmm.
doesn't. So
Correct.
as I'm reading it, I'm like, I'm confused. I was like, how the hell are they gonna? Uh, okay, well, let's just be put it blunt. I'm gonna like speak what I, because like everyone knows Robert Downey Jr. is gonna play Doctor Doom, right?
Right.
So I have no idea how they're gonna do it. Because in what I read, the reveal does not happen anywhere. The dude keeps his mask on the entire time. So what are they gonna wait until Secret Wars to do the reveal? I'm like, who the
That's
hell's
what I
gonna
heard.
care? Who
Mm-hmm.
the, no, but then who the hell's gonna care though at the and at Secret Wars? Like, if the reveal is meant to happen uh in this movie, so like
Mm-hmm.
it was weird seeing that how it's not. But you're right, you know, like there's the possibility that we are gonna be completely bamboozled, you know. But then, yeah, I think you know if that happens, you're gonna be the happier of the two because again, when I tell you I have not watched anything after Endgame, I shit you not. The only thing I've watched, I swear to you, on my life, dude. Um, the only thing I watched um, was that special for what do you call it? Werewolf by Night
Okay,
with
okay.
and the only reason I watched it is because the actress who was in it, Laura Donnelly, the female lead in it, she was like one of my like the actress. She was in another show that I watched. She was in Merlin from the BBC back in 2010. So that's the only reason I checked it out. I was like, oh yeah, I remember her. That was the only reason I checked it out, and it turned out to be really good. It turned out to be a really fun story. And then I haven't even finished season 1 of Born Again.
What?
Daredevil Born Again. I haven't finished season 1
Oh,
of Born Again.
oh,
I haven't.
man. What is wrong with you?
I
What is
haven't.
wrong with you?
I'm sorry, I
Oh,
haven't. Yo, you know,
my
okay, so
heart.
I'll tell you. I'm like, this is where I completely gave up, right? So I'm like, this whole shit about White Tiger, right? He's
Right.
fighting for White Tiger. It's really compelling, you know. White Tiger, White Tiger. The dude gets capped at the end of the
I
episode.
know,
I'm
I know.
like,
Listen, as a Puerto Rican man, they hurt me the most, okay?
he gets capped at the end of the episode. He gets shot. I'm like, dude, fuck you, dude. Like, if anything, I know it was supposed to be like, oh yeah, like a thing to like keep us more like engaged and whatnot. But you
Right,
that in my face, honestly. I'm like trying to like slog through every episode. I'm like, okay, it's a good beat, you know, like there's finally justice, you know. And then he gets shot. Like, fuck off.
right. Listen, they did White Tiger dirty twice, okay?
Right, twice. He got racially profiled pretty much.
Okay, no, three times.
3 times.
got-
He got racially profiled. He got he got put in jail. And then he got shot.
Wait, no. So I guess four times. I mean, by all means, keep adding on to the list. But everything you said. But let's not forget the hideous costume that they gave him, bro. It looked like something from Party City. If I'm being honest, like
Oh,
it felt
Party
like
City. Bullseye has entered the chat, bro. Bullseye has entered the chat. He doesn't even look like Bullseye. And they're doing a whole redemption arc for Bullseye. The one
yeah.
interesting thing was Muse, because that guy, just on a
Mhm.
base level, he looks really cool and he sounds really cool. The
Mhm.
fact that like he looks like this normal guy, but like he has like some sort of mystical dark power that makes him immune to Daredevil's like senses, which
Mhm.
they're not gonna explain, right? But then it's just like that weird thing about him, like how the fuck can he do that? Like
Right.
he's like this good fighter, but then he's like invisible. To, it's like being invisible to Spider-Man's spider sense. It's like
Right.
you don't just do that, right? And he's like the serial killer, right? So it's like he's who like paints with people's blood
Blood.
and shit.
That's
So
freaking.
that's creepy. But then I tuned out because apparently they're setting up that lawyer girlfriend to become
Yeah. Which would.
Lady Muse. I'm like, fuck
Mhm.
off, dude.
Yeah.
The guy who played the bad guy in Wednesday season 1 was doing a good job as Muse. I'm like, what he's supposed to be a guy, right? I don't think there's, or unless I'm completely wrong, unless I'm being, you know, sexist here. Like there is no Lady
No.
Muse. Someone in the
There-
chat is gonna be like, "Oh, there is a Lady Muse," you know, in issue 1, volume 2. Like, fuck off.
Volume 5.
Volume 5, page 3, Lady Muse is in there. I'm like, fuck. Muse is a guy, right? Muse is a serial killer. He paints with people's blood, you know.
Okay. I'm conflicted I'm conflicted with that whole situation, and I'll tell you why. So there's a saying, sex is canceled.
Oh
There's a
god,
there's a
I'm
saying
canceled.
that when an episode or a show or a movie makes you like hate a certain character, or that character makes you feel uncomfortable, it's usually said that that's good writing, because they've put you in a place where you've somehow inadvertently gotten invested into the character, whether it be positively or negatively, right? But the thing is,
The caveat, the one big caveat.
the thing is, this, which by the way, before the episode gets to the point where she starts like mentally breaking down because of the
Right.
trauma that Muse put her through,
Yeah.
she was a great character. Like she was like like fair and like unbiased or whatever. For the most part, she was somewhat willing to be open to, right, like
Right.
possibilities of like, oh, maybe mass vigilantes like aren't like necessarily like evil, but they've got issues. And I was cool with that. I was like, okay, someone who's like somewhat fair, as any and every lawyer should be, right?
Yeah.
But now they're giving us like a perverted version of her, and you would think that Daredevil clearly saving her, and she knows that part because she saw it with her own eyes. She witnessed it. Like Daredevil saving her after the traumatic experience, you would think that she would hold on to that and gravitate towards that. But as usual, and this is no offense to females. I love women. I love females. I if I could protect every female and woman on earth, I would. But in that moment, in that show, specifically, like they show like quote unquote per usual, like females tend to gravitate towards like the negative side of things instead of like holding on to the good. Like she held on to the bad. Like instead of holding on to like, damn, I just went through this really traumatic experience, but Daredevil was there to rescue me, and he did. I'm gonna hold on to the trauma that I just experienced. What? A
Yeah.
female, a female actually acknowledging this? Yo, if Courtney was already on a high pedestal in my eyes, she just won Woman of the Year with that comment. No, but
No,
and
but
that
it's the fact that it's the fact that me like it, and it makes no sense too because she's like her whole thing is gonna be like, oh, I'm taking out mass vigilantes, but then she's gonna wear a mask herself and do it. That's like that's like what's your whole you're defeating your purpose. But it's just like they have to make us they have to dumb it down for us. The real way to do that is I don't know if you're not a Game of Thrones fan, right?
not directly, no. Mm-mm.
No, not really. So like, there's this like for anyone who is in just in case anyone, Kristen Cole from House of the Dragon. Kristen Cole, he he's protecting the princess, right? Um, and he dishonors himself by sleeping with the princess, right? As a knight, you can't like you're supposed to be you're supposed to avow like you can't, right? He soiled himself and his cloak, and then he they grow apart, and then there's a new king, whatever, right? So there's this guy, right, who they make you love him, like really love him. He's like this right chivalrous guy, and then after a few episodes, he starts doing questionable shit, and then 3 seasons later, you absolutely hate this motherfucker. You want him to die. And spoilers, he just died a really brutal death, which I'm really like I borderline like orgasmed when he died, the way he died. But
Like,
when
oh,
that's good writing. That is good writing. You introduce a character, you introduce a character that you like, this charismatic, you like this person, and then 3 seasons later, you absolutely hate this motherfucker, and you want him to die the most brutal. So he's like, oh, this honorable. So like he does dishonorable things, like his entire time in the show, right? And at the end, he's like, all right, like the leader, he wants to do a his army is surrounded by like an army like 5 times his size, and then he wants to do a 1v5 against the leaders of the army that's surrounding him. He's like, he wants to be honorable, and then he gets shot in the eye through the bow and arrow. And he's like, no, and then he's like, no, I'm not gonna have any songs written about how you died honorably. Like everyone knows he's
That's
done
awesome.
despicable things. He's like, no, but then going back to the other example of like Muse, that's how you
Right.
write like a villain, right? That you go from liking to hating, like,
Correct.
or like a person, a character. No, not like Muse, where like you have to do mental gymnastics to kind of justify why a person who's going after masked vigilantes is doing so while wearing a mask.
Hmm.
The whole trauma PTSD thing I can kind of understand, but
Right.
it's like, well, why she becomes like Lady Muse, but then she's like,
Yeah.
there's nowhere in her psyche that she's a killer, right?
Right.
It'd be one thing
Correct.
if they established her like, oh yeah, she's like previously, has mental issues, and she became like a therapist to kind of help herself as well,
Right.
um or
Nothing.
some shit. Nothing. There's none
Mhm.
of that, unless I'm completely wrong, right?
No, no, no.
um
They don't
no,
they don't allude to any of that.
they don't and then out of nowhere she just becomes a fucking serial killer. I'm like, I
Hmm.
get you get like traumatized and shit, but a serial killer, like, come
Right.
on,
There's
dude.
levels to this stuff, lady. You can't.
there's
This cannot be a witches go cray cray type of moment where you take it to that
there's
level right away.
there's levels now, bro, why are we talking about Daredevil? We're meant to be talking about Spider-Man, dude.
True. 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 There's
Spider-Man.
so many things involving Spider-Man. Okay, but okay.
What,
So
hold
Red.
on, question for you. What did you think of the because part like the one of my biggest thing was like shit shit. Now I don't want to talk about spoilers because I know because Courtney told me she hasn't seen it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to tell Courtney to go away, right? I'm be like, yo, it's like Courtney, go away. Like, no, fuck.
We don't ever know when she'll be here again, so we gotta make the best of it and most of it while she's here.
Bro, I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil. No, because like it's like because like, we were just talking like bad spoilers and shit. I'm like,
Right.
I don't know. Make yourself known. I
You
can
go
come
back.
back with 5. Yeah, click off.
Just
Click off.
just mute us, I guess, for the next
Or
5 minutes or
mute.
so.
Yeah, mute. Yeah, mute. Yeah.
Well,
Okay, I'm gonna do it in 3, 2, 1, 1.5. Fair warning. Spoilers incoming. 1, 2, 3. Okay, spoilers now. Um, that that was more grace than I've ever given anyone
oh, for real,
when
yo.
I talk spoilers. Um, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so what did you think of the when they pulled the rug out? When I thought I was kind of getting upset
Oh,
because
I,
I was kind of getting upset because like why are they undoing it? Why are they undoing it? And they're like, oh shit, no, like, it was
nigga.
her. Yeah, I
That
was
that's how
getting
hot.
upset. I was getting upset because I thought they were gonna undo it, but I was in two minds. I was like, oh my god, and then but I was also kind of getting upset because like why are they undoing it? The whole point is him, not remembering, right? And
Right.
then it's like, oh shit, she got to her, and it's so. What did you think of
So
that?
so let me paint a picture for you. The entire moment leading up to that moment, there was complete silence in the theater. Okay, I'm next to my mom. There's
Right.
complete silence, and two things happened. I kid you not. You cannot make this up, and God is my witness. Two things happened when she started giving like the hint of like it could be like that they're undoing it.
Yeah.
There's one thing you heard in the entire theater, and it's one of the few times I've ever cussed, because you know me, I don't cuss, I don't curse, nothing like that. But I was like, all you heard in the theater was, "Oh shit!"
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. It happened in my theater too. He was like, "Oh shit!"
And then,
No. I heard. No. It was and then when she smiled, she's like, "Oh shit, it's her." I'm like,
when she revealed that she had possessed her, the only thing you heard from me was "nigga."
yeah, like, oh my god. I was like, I leaned back in my chair. I was like, "Oh shit, they really did it." That's a violation. That is a violation. That's like there's Jean Grey. Oh, spoilers. I hope you're not here, Courtney. There's Jean Grey enthusiasts and purists who are like now they're mad because Jean Grey is not by nature. She's not like evil, right?
Yeah.
Later, she's like explored like Dark Phoenix and shit like that. But she's not evil. She's like what? Like how old is she in this movie? Like 20 something, right? She's
Pretty
not
much,
like
yeah.
she doesn't do that's a violation. That's like something like fucking Mephisto would do or some shit, right?
Yeah.
That's a violation. That is like, and you're getting like saucy with it because like you're full on kissing the guy, right? And I'm like, why? And then that the only drawback of that because like she kissed him through MJ, and now they're shipping Jean Grey and fucking Spider Man. Like
So
no, senor.
my heart, when I tell you it's one of the few moments it dropped when the realization came to fruition. Like it dropped. Like I was like, oh, this crazy witch did it. Like, yo, that even it's like it made you feel like you were Peter Parker and you were like,
Yeah,
yo, like F off. Like, are you serious?
like
Like
fuck
that's
right off.
really messed up. Like, yo,
No, but
you don't
then
toil for man's heart like that.
yeah, but then what really hit it home, what saved it, well, there was nothing wrong because they faked us out, which was good. But then what really solidified it was, yeah, like the spell worked. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I get it, like you love me, but like I don't love you. I don't even know
Oh
you.
yeah.
Like
That really.
that like was a smack in the face. Like I don't love you and I don't even know you. I don't know who you are. You know? Like the spell did its job. Like
Mm-hmm.
and even Doctor Strange doesn't know who he is, right? He
Yeah.
like yeah, like yeah, but then that was also a smack in the face. But then, and they did it so well because then the next scene is pretty much him playing with like Ned and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But then she sees how he's connecting with Ned,
Right.
and then that's when she realizes, oh yeah, he's telling the truth because like
Correct.
I can see like how you were best friends with this guy, and
Exactly.
I could probably see why you and I were like an item, at one
Mm-hmm.
point.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
That's
but that's how they do it. And that's where the movie's gonna make its money, right? That's where, and
the emotional strings.
it's worth praising because the emotional show, like they rely less on like heavy visual effects and shit. Like that's where like you take it back and you tell like a story appropriate considering what happened in the last movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like dealing with grief and shit like that, like loss, like the stark reality of not getting everything that you want.
Right.
The dude sat for 4 years, like borderline not stalking his friends, right? But like keeping an eye on them, and it takes a toll. It's like, hey, like I used to know you all, and it's been 4 years. Like imagine that, like Jesus Christ, like just like watching like your old friends just like continue to go on living their lives, like, and then, but then no, like you erased yourself, right? That's the sacrifice you made. So like,
And
yeah,
not to cut you off
no,
at
yeah,
all,
absolutely,
but this is what I was getting at the beginning of the stream when I was talking about my personal situation and why I connect so much with this movie. is that I expect, obviously I don't have superpowers, you know what I mean? I'm not Spider-Man, but the fact that he chose to remove himself from his community, from his friends, from his loved ones, to, you know, to protect them and other reasons, is the same way for the past 2 years, and some change. I've removed myself. You know, I only recently got back into social media, only because I felt that I was I was ready to do so, and I am ready to do so. But for the span of like 2 years and some change, I chose to remove myself from like the community, from like my friends, even from family. You know, I've isolated myself for the past 2 years, because I wanted to focus on myself, but also focus on, you know, how can I make things work in these other areas of my life. And that's what he went through. And so when when you can see yourself in a character in those moments, you know, you that's what gives it that rewatchability, because the fact that you can see yourself. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good, Courtney. Um, the fact that if you're able to see yourself in that light, like, and pretty much relate to the character to that extent, it does give it that rewatchability um, effect. And that's the other reason why I kind of feel the need to like rewatch it, is because it does give me a sense of like looking at myself in the mirror and being like, "Yep, I know what that's like. Yep, I know what that's like. Yep,
Yeah.
definitely know what that's like." But at the end, and this is the part that we need to hold on to for people like us who have gone through what he's gone through, is holding on to the fact that we don't have to do life by ourselves.
Alone.
You know, we don't have to
Right.
do it alone.
That's
That's
like that's something that like that right there is like that it's amazing because that right there is like him accepting that is what makes him well this version of him anyway. That's what makes him special. But
exactly.
then that very then but then that concept, right?
Hmm.
Batman's inability to not accept that, that's
Hmm.
what makes him special, but in a tragic way.
Right.
It's like I will always do this alone. I'll do this like nothing, like nobody. Even like, like that's that's why I think those two characters are like amazing and
Hmm.
they go beyond like even Superman, every like those two because one is just this like a more positive, they both embody this whole notion of like no matter how hard things get, just always um rising to the occasion. But then Batman like explores like that, like no matter what happens, like no, like no matter how seemingly good everything is, like no, like I'll always be alone, this, that, and the other, right? Like that's what he gravitates towards because like that's why like he feels he needs to spare people.
Yeah.
What is that?
I'm trying to see if it shows, but
No,
it's
it
that
doesn't show. It's like
is a comic book with both of them on the cover,
yeah,
Spider-Man
that's
and
why
Batman.
Spider. Yeah, that's why they're. I think they encompass like two sides of that concept. Like him in this movie, that's his whole thing, right? Like not doing it alone and shit. And that makes him special here is what makes Batman special, but in a completely different way. Like his just sheer inability that he just can't get over it, and then that also becomes a flaw, right? Because that's his biggest flaw. Because like he just does not let people in whatsoever, like no matter what, nothing. You know?
And literally those are the two sides to me. And this is something that, you know, like people like you, and very few people of the community have learned about me, is that for the most part I work best alone to an extent, and I prefer the comfort of my, not loneliness, but the comfort of my there's a word for that. Jesus. I guess like my privacy, or like my,
Solitude.
yes, thank you, dear God. Why am I forgetting words? Yes, solitude. I prefer the comfort of my solitude But at the same time, I'm highly aware that a lot of the greatest things that I've accomplished in my life has been due to or in company of an actual team. So like that's where like people like you come in. That's where people like Kiko and producer Jay and my brother and my sister come in. You know, I was, and I'll be quick about this in short, but I was I was looking at videos and like a web show that I had created back in 2014, 2015. And at the time, it was a parody of, I don't know if you remember or used to watch like MTV, but MTV had a show called Guy Code, and it was like a sketch, not sketch comedy, but they had like little like commentary type vibes of like they would ask
Right.
the comedians like questions or how would you deal with this as a guy, and you know, bro code and all that. And we did a parody of that around the same time because I was fond of that show. I thought it was funny. So I was like, we could do this like a Christian version of this, you know, very easily. And so we did. And so I drew out the sketches and like the questions that we were going to answer. And it was a great concept at the time, but I was only able to do it because I had a team to
Yeah.
help me actually do it. Like I did everything. I wrote the questions, the answers. I wrote the skits that we would do here and there. But if it weren't for the support of the team, like my sister, people from the church that helped out, even my dad comes out in an episode, and people from other churches saw that and they're like, "Yo, this is really good stuff. Like, are you gonna keep doing this?" The plan was to keep doing it, but around that same time, I moved to Florida, so I had to like pull the plug on it.
Right.
But it opened the doors to other Christian comedians to do something similar and better afterwards. So I was kind of like a pioneer in that area without even knowing it. But it was
The guy's
only
a pioneer, bro. A whole ass pioneer, a whole ass freaking Christopher Columbus, bro. Without the genocide. Without the genocide,
without the
but
genocide. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, we only committed genocide towards demons. Hallelujah. No, no.
Hallelujah.
But
Constantine.
God, Constantine style, just
Yeah.
magic mother. No. We did a great job, but I had to pull the plug. But I was only able to accomplish it again with the support of the people around me. And so, you know, at the end of the day, this movie, this Brand New Day movie, while it takes us on that emotional journey of like feeling your feels, right? Going through your emotions, going through the pain
The
and
stark
the
the stark reality of everything, you know? Like while the reality is this, there's also this. Like like pretty much I am like this whole thing is like, oh, are you Spider-Man or are you Peter Parker? And
Mhm.
then I won't spoil the answer, but when it happens, that was probably the best answer that that
Literally.
answer. I'm not gonna spoil what the answer was. That answer that he gives is
Mhm.
literally what like every other Spider-Man comic is like afraid to do.
Exactly.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Because you've
Oh
seen
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then
Mhm.
the answer he gives was like, "Are you Spider-Man or are you Peter Parker?" Every other Spider-Man comic is like afraid to do it.
Yep.
Um, to do what the answer like what he says, right?
Mhm.
But that's the main thing that kind of gives me really good vibes for the future. That
Yep.
answer alone is what gives me good vibes. Is because like if we're going in that direction, not many people want to. Not many people. Spider-Man 2 kind of went there, but
Mhm.
that was more like a hyper realistic kind of way, right? So like and then just by a stroke of luck, Mary Jane just decides to walk through the door, leave her husband at the altar, right?
Mm,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah,
just out of the blue is like, I love you, Peter. Like,
yeah.
can't like, go get him, Tiger. I'm like,
Right.
right? No, but then the beautiful part of that movie is that yeah, it's all lovey dovey. He gets together. She makes her choice to be with him. That's the other, and he he gets to be Spider-Man and shit. But then as he's swinging away, the last shot of the movie is her face. She's like, "Fuck!" Like you know what I'm talking about, right? He's
yeah.
like, "Shit." So this is what it is. Like this is no. But like it's funny, right? But then at the same time, it's kind of not because it's like, yeah, this is what it's gonna be. Like he's swinging away. I don't know if he's ever gonna come back. He could be swinging away and he could die right then and there, or like
Exactly.
he's leaving constantly. Right? This is how it's gonna be. Like she's not happy. Like she's not. She's like, yeah, she was happy a minute ago, but then as he's swinging away, she's like, shit, I'm
Hmm.
really in it now, right? And that's what's beautiful about it, because it's like, yeah, because like you can. There's always that bit of you is like, is this really gonna work? You know?
Yeah.
And that ending will be unmatched for me because it's like she's not happy, she's not sad, but she's like, shit, like we're in it now, right? Like,
Exactly.
yeah, I took the leap and here we are, and like, holy shit, right? And if
Hmm.
they had gone Spider-Man 3 right,
Hmm.
that would have made the ending to 2 so much better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but either way, but back to this new movie, how they answered that question
Hmm.
gives me so much hope because that is what every like they either want him miserable
Hmm.
or like something else, right?
Yeah.
But that answer gives me like without spoiling it
Right.
gives me a lot of hope, for the character. Really,
I'm
really,
trying.
really, it really does.
I'm trying not to spoil it myself, just because it's so easy to spoil. But
We've been talking spoilers this entire time, and and
it,
now we have to like
reel it back. Yeah, reel it back in.
this has never happened in the history of like reviews, probably. Like we like, yeah, spoiler this. Like remember this part here. Yo, you remember when we did the Spider-Man 3 um review together? Remember? No Way Home?
Yeah.
It was
I
on
think
it was on my channel. It was on my channel. You don't have it. It was on my channel. But eh, there we went like full blown spoiler. Like we could probably do another one. I could probably hit you up and we do like a full blown like breakdown if you want to. But then
oh
I
yeah.
also have the other one. The thumbnail is like of like all three of them hugging, right? And I'm like the names like, oh, Red Hood and JDQ review No Way Home. Um, and then the thumbnail is all three of like the Spider-Man hugging. It's like it's in 2021, so it's always you have to
I'm gonna have
scroll
to
all the way
revisit
down.
that. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to revisit that because I remember the conversation, but I could have sworn, I don't know why I'm thinking it was like on this channel, but you're right, it was on your channel.
we done a lot of reviews. We did that one. We did um Sound of Freedom. Remember
Yes, that I do
with
remember.
I forgot her name. Do you remember her name?
Oh, Jaime or
Jaime. We did
yeah.
it with Jaime. And we did that. We did Sound of Freedom, and then I can't remember. I can't remember if we did something else. And if you I'm interested to know. Can you like briefly like touch on like if you can without spoiling? Can you briefly touch on how this movie relates to Christianity?
Oh, you know what's funny? I saw a post pretty much about that on Instagram earlier today. I don't know if I saved it or not, but if you want my personal take as how it correlates to like Christianity, is literally the final lesson, like the final lesson of like coming to the realization of not having to, because we are told to carry our cross, right? Like
Yeah,
Jesus does tell us to carry our cross. However, he does not say or allude to us having to carrying it on our own. So sure, carry your cross like Jesus tells you to do, but you don't have to carry it on your own. You don't have to carry it by yourself. That's why there's a community within the church and the congregation that is supposed to be your second family, and vice versa. We're supposed to be a second family to uh, church members and congregation, because iron sharpens iron, and there's so many reasons of why like the whole community as of a church is as a whole is needed. For example, help. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Jesus had a stranger help him too. That's the first example. Like there was someone that helped him carrying it. It wasn't from start to finish, but at some point throughout Jesus' walk to Calvary, someone showed up and helped them, you know, whether it be halfway to Calvary or whatever the case might be. At some point, someone reached out and helped Jesus carry that cross to the end.
Right.
But in essence, you know, sometimes we feel we lose our, oh my God, I gotta leave like in 5 minutes. But yeah, sometimes we feel that we lose our identity when we let go of our loved ones, and when we isolate ourselves, we kind of like lose the sense of purpose and identity within that situation. But we can always like look to Christ to see our purpose and our identity. And again, we don't have to carry the cross by ourselves. But if you want to add to that, bro, that's just me, like top of my head. That's not me like getting into the meat and potatoes of correlation to Christianity. That's just
Yeah.
like off the cuff. But if you want to add some to it, you can.
No, yeah, I just asked it like, just because I know like you're a Christian channel, obviously.
Mhm.
I'm the farthest thing, the farthest thing, but like I'm in the limbo of like maybe there is like something to like aspire to,
Mhm.
and then also like The Chosen, right? That
Mhm.
show, I'm watching it from like a filmmaking perspective, right? Like this is a good story. Like this is like I'm treating like Jesus if he was like an original character, right? Like this guy who's like who wants to be with who like he isn't bothered by the children, right? He helps people, he does this, does that, and then there's a whole conspiracy by both the church and the city of Rome. They hate each other, but in some weird twist of like perfect in the perfect storm, they join forces to get rid of the one good guy trying to make a difference.
Right.
That's how I'm seeing it. Um but yeah, that's another thing because like they dropped the teaser for season 6.
Right. I
So
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, they dropped the teaser for season 6, and it's like, and I know I made a kind of a joke how like when they introduced Judas, they kind of introduced him as like the next like MCU villain. Like they kind of did like before he turned evil or before he started to stray. This is who Judas was, and then they show all of like the good Judas moments. Like him like hanging out with the like Big John and Little John and uh Matthew and uh Simon and Peter and like all like that show as well. Like, and I really like if you haven't started watching it, I really like I think that would be perfect for you to review for this channel, honestly.
And it's something that is coming to the channel like sooner than later. Because I wanna do in-depth review of the show, like an overall review of the show,
Yeah, not
really
season by season, but like overall, like once you watch the entire thing,
like a summary.
watch it. Yeah, a summary. Yeah, and then if you want, like as it comes, because like the guy, like he wants to do 7 seasons, so like
Hmm.
this is like the penultimate season, and the season 7 is supposed to be the last one. But it's really it's interesting because like you can cover how like it's like there's no like network behind it. It's like all crowdfunded, and they
Exactly.
made it onto Amazon Prime and shit.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest wins the Christian community has had in a very long time, aside from Passion of the Christ, which, by the way, the second part to that movie, I believe, is also coming within a year or two, and it's going to be also produced and directed by Mel Gibson again.
My boy
Um,
Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson.
the the resurrection of the Christ, and if and when that does come to fruition, that'll be another hopeful blockbuster because
That's gonna be a blockbuster, honestly. Just Mel Gibson, and then like, but I think Jim Caviezel isn't coming back, right?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a very
I don't
good
think he's
question.
coming back.
That would be weird and awkward because I guess I don't know unless he gave them rights to do some type of like AI generated like facial use or whatever, then
Right.
maybe it could work, but that would still be weird and awkward because you're already attached to seeing his face as Jesus on the big screen. So
Right. No.
we'll
The
see.
way I see, like, the way I think of Jesus is this new guy, Jonathan Rumi. That's his name.
Oh,
Like,
the one from The Chosen.
yeah, he's like he, like, I don't know how much you've seen, but like in the beginning, he's like this comedian, right? He's
Fun
funny as
Love.
fuck. Like, he's a straight up comedian, but then like he also, when it's time to be serious and have
Hmm.
serious conversation, he really like goes for it, you know?
Yeah, which is honestly how Jesus, to some extent, is depicted in the Bible. Like he knows when to turn on his humanity and when to turn on, like, nah, this is some celestial type stuff that I need to teach you on. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like for real, like real about this.
And the
Like,
thing is, it's like it gets annoying, but then that's when I realize like the show's doing its job, because like
mhm,
the BS that happens, and then Jesus is like, "Trust me." Like, why aren't you trusting me? Like,
mhm,
it's so simple to him, but then to everyone else, humans, it's
mhm.
like, what the fuck, Jesus? Like, well, like, what the fuck? Like, my bro, my 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 boy Lazarus just died, right? You want me to
Yep,
be okay with it for like
no.
7 days, and
Yo,
then when
Jesus, right now, not the time, homie. Right now, not the time,
right now is
Jesus.
not the time, bro. Yo, my fucking what for Peter, right? My fucking wife just had a fucking miscarriage. You want me to be okay with it? You want me to walk on water now, bitch? Like, what do you do? What are you on? Are you high? Like, no,
Oh,
I'm making a joke out of it, but then that scene borderline almost made me cry. Like the walking on water scene, that, and
hmm.
when he fell, that one borderline, like, and I'm not religious, right? I'm about to end this man's whole career, but I'm not a rapper type shit.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
religious. I'm not
But I'm
religious,
not a
but
rapper though.
that scene borderline broke me, like how it was like, and it was a whole storm too. Like, they were in, it wasn't like a light rain, it was a whole ass storm. They were like a
Exactly.
tiny ass boat, and there's like, just come out and walk, simple, just step out, start walking.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and that's part of the frustration too, is like, to again, because like to him it's so simple, just do it, but then to us it's like, like, really, like, how
hmm,
much faith, right? But then that's the whole point, right? You have to have faith.
exactly. That's the whole point of faith. Yeah, it's trusting wholeheartedly and just like I don't like using this term or phrase, but it is technically what it is. Blindly trusting, like
Yeah,
God's
blind.
authority. But hey, man, I hate to do this because this is a great conversation, but I
No,
actually have
I was actually, I had to go, like, I had to, as well, right? But no, yeah, absolutely. Like, um, it's always good, literally always. Like, I was okay. Fucking confession time. Sorry, Courtney. But literally, I was, we were having a conversation the other day, and I'm like, yo, JDQ never fails to put a smile on my face. Like, I know you've never seen my face, but like every time I talk to you, you never fail to put a smile on my face. No matter what you may be going through, no matter what the situation might be, you never fail to put a smile on my face. Seriously,
damn,
you never do.
damn. Why you gotta make me cry on my way to the airport picking up my sister now, bro? Now I gotta explain my sister like why I got a full face of tears, manly tears, mind you, manly tears,
Manly tears.
but still.
No, no, but it's always a good time talking to you, man. You're like literally like in the context of like a community that started out 6 or 7 years ago now,
Yeah,
and that, well, on my, you obviously don't know about it, right? Because like you're not in it, but
exactly.
seeing something completely destroy itself from within and become something bastardized,
Hmm.
the fact that you're one of the few people that I still keep in contact with after this and that whole thing, after those many years, you were one of the OGs, and I feel fortunate, right, that you're like one of the good ones that stayed around, and we keep in contact and such. So, it's always a fun time talking to you, man. Seriously, like, I mean it.
I believe you, bro, and I do. Hand to God, right hand to God. Feel the same way about you. I feel the same way about like people like Chris. Even Courtney. Even though like we never talk, like Courtney and me like never talk, especially over the past like.
You
course
jumped on her stream the other day, right?
Yes, I did, and
Yeah,
that was
me
like
too.
the first time, and I don't know how long. And I think I even like became a member, like to like help out and chip in and stuff. But that was like the first time and like the longest time that I even, directed any words like towards her or Chris, the cameraman, or anybody really. But
Right.
I do feel the same way about you, her, Chris, Alex. Something crazy about me is I could go 2, 3, 4, 5 years without having any contact with you for whatever reason. Let's say I'm in a coma, right, for like 4 or 5 years, and and I wake up from the coma, and you talk to me like if it was yesterday, and I'm gonna treat you like it was yesterday. Like I'm not gonna be like an a-hole, like, oh, who are you? Like what the heck? Like it's been
Right.
this long. Like what do you think we have in common? Like I'm one of those friends that no matter how long we go without like talking or having any type of connection, I know how to circle back and find you where you want to meet me at. Like I have a friend from PR. Okay, this is perfect example. This was one of my best closest friends in PR before I left the island to come here.
Yeah.
And we used to do all the things that you and me are doing, like talking about these movies and having like conversation and commentary and all that. Him and me used to do that a lot when I was back home. Once I moved from PR to here, we completely lost full contact. Like
Right.
we grew apart, if you will. Like we have our lives to tend to.
Yeah.
See, wait, but out of nowhere, like every now and every so often, every once or twice, like throughout the year, he'll reach out to me and be like, "Hey, man, how you feel about this movie that came out?" And I'll give him like my take, and it's like if we never left. It's like if we never were like a year or
Yeah.
two apart.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
get what you mean. Seriously, it's like that. Seriously, like it's like it's amazing. Literally, like I said, everything just went to shit. Everything what it used to be. Like you get what I'm talking about.
Well,
Like how things.
that's literally what he asked me. How you feel about all these movies after Endgame? And I gave
Right.
him my breakdown.
Right.
But hey, bro, we can keep DMing because now I really do gotta go. But hey, same way you feel about me, I genuinely feel about you. And that's
Yeah.
real talk, right hand to God. You could always DM me whenever you want. I can isolate myself, but if you need or want to reach out to me, I will always respond to you. And that goes the same for everyone from the community. So
Yeah.
God bless
Absolutely.
you, and we'll keep chatting in the DMs. All right,
Yeah. Definitely. Of course.
all right, bro. Peace out. God bless.
All right. And peace out to everyone who was watching. Absolutely. The audience, the good audience.
Shout out to everyone, everyone from Twist to Courtney to anybody else who was here at some point of time. All right, y'all. God bless, and see y'all probably like tomorrow afternoon because I am gonna start doing these streams a little bit more often, more frequently. So, peace.
All right. Take care.
Likewise, brother.
See ya.